NXT kicked off tonight with Lola Vice coming out for her match. She was out first, and her opponent Kalani Jordan came out, and they had was practically a grudge match in the opener. The match really started off as a brawl, and Lola sold her hand really well. Kalani injured it, and she made it worse last week when she attacked her backstage. I think she kicked her hand into a drawer, and Kalani really worked over the hand really well, and that was the whole story of the match, was Kalani attacking the hand. She removes the cast, and then she really just begins to stomp on it. Lola's doing very well in terms of selling here. And I thought Kalani came off as a real bitch in this match. Like, she's like ruthless. And I always thought Kalani Jordan, like, I don't know, the way I saw her, I just saw her as a babyface. Never really thought of her as a type of a heel, just like a smiling babyface. But she was really, cruel and almost sadistic in this match. And I really liked this a lot. Eventually, as Kalani was getting the heat, Lola would, as we all expected, make her comeback, and this was the worst spot of the match. This was so cartoony. It's what you get sometimes in NXT, but they're on the outside, and you have that circular structure that near the barricade, and Lola goes for the spinning back fist, but she misses Kalani, and she punches the structure, and she makes a dent in it. I'm thinking, okay, we see sometimes wrestlers get speared through that. A spinning back fist is not gonna break that wood unless you're like Bruce Lee or something. I don't know. I just was not a fan of that at all. But eventually, that led to, I guess, Lola hurting her hand again. Kalani kept attacking it, and then eventually she gets her back in the ring, and she puts her in a submission hold where she like bends down on the hand, and it's really painful. Lola was screaming, and Vic Joseph did a good job of selling it. Like, he's telling us Lola is screaming, and sometimes we can't really tell if it's that on television, but he did a good job explaining that. And she's trying to get out of it, but eventually the babyface Lola Vice, the MMA fighter, that's her whole gimmick. She's an MMA girl. She fought. She had several fights in MMA, not in the UFC, but different promotions. She is submitted by Kalani Jordan. Huge win for Kalani. They almost never make Lola tap out. She submits to her. And I guess this is the end of the feud. It felt like Kalani defeats Lola Vice. She embarrasses her. She beats her at her own game. She humiliates the babyface, submits her, makes her tap out, and she broke her hand. It's like, man, this is a total win for Kalani Jordan in this feud. And it makes me think Lola Vice really should just go to the main roster now. I don't think Kalani's going to get called up just yet, but Lola, to me, it seems like that she's almost done here. And she really put over Kalani big here, and this is a really good win for Kalani Jordan. I liked it a lot, and it's just ironic that the MMA female fighter taps out the same day that there's a big MMA fight announced. If you haven't heard, Ronda Rousey is returning to MMA, not the UFC. She's going to be fighting against Gina Carano, another female MMA legend. She hasn't fought since 2009, Gina Carano. So Rousey hasn't fought since 2016. They will be fighting on Netflix, and that's worth noting because Ronda was in the WWE for several years, actually, and she was associated with them for many years. It is what it is. I'll watch it, but it's just ironic that that Lola Vice taps out the same day that fight gets announced, which is in May, I believe. So we got a Tony D'Angelo video promo. He was standing somewhere outside the PC. Then we got a Dark State promo backstage. They suck. Ricky Sainz was jumped by Joe Hendry in the parking lot, and they're quickly separated right before we go to break. Then after the break, Sarah Schreiber was interviewing Shiloh Hill, who was wearing a Jason mask. I guess he's still celebrating Friday the 13th. He's really much a Friday the 13th enthusiast. A Jason Voorhees enthusiast, it seems. So I guess I like that about him. I'm just not that big of a fan of his overall work or his character. But he's joined by Hank and Tank. And I mentioned Sarah Schreiber. She actually seems to get a bit of a pop from the crowd. And this is also worth noting that Kelly Kincaid is no longer with the WWE as her contract expired shortly after last week's show. She was with the company for 4 years, and she missed time following her pregnancy, and we really didn't see her for a while. She came back, but I guess her contract expired. It seems like it was the WWE's decision to move on and not renew her. I don't know. I think she probably wanted to stay. I thought she did a decent job as an interviewer. I liked her. Sarah is now going to take over full time, it seems. We haven't seen Sarah in a while. I guess they were just allowing Kelly to finish up her dates, but Sarah looks like to take it over again. And we'll see what's next for Kelly Kincaid. She's just going to be replaced by Sarah Schreiber, who's going to be full time probably, it seems, going forward. But that's it for Kelly Kincaid. I thought she did a very good job as a backstage interviewer. I enjoyed her. I liked her work and wish the best for her wherever she goes next, if she stays in wrestling. So Joe Hendry walked out and called out Ricky Saints, who then appeared on the podium, on the platform, whatever. He cuts a promo on Joe Hendry. Hendry says he wants to kick Ricky's ass at Vengeance Day, so that is going to happen. I mistakenly said a few weeks ago that it's not going to happen. It always almost happens the week or two after Valentine's Day, around that time, but I guess it's pushed back to March now. And I'm thinking, okay, it's in March, but why haven't they announced Stand and Deliver? Are they going to do Stand and Deliver? Because that's quite a quick turnaround from Vengeance Day to Stand and Deliver, which is the biggest show for NXT. So I don't know why they haven't announced it. I really don't get it. We got an Izzy Dane video promo on Tatum. She was talking to the Culling, mostly to Sean Spears. Almost called him Ty Dillinger. So we got Tony D'Angelo against Cutler James of Dark State. Tony destroyed him. Good. It was practically a Goldberg type match. That's what it was. He just crushed Cutler James good. Cutler James sucks. All of Dark State sucks. I'm looking forward to seeing him destroy all of Dark State. I guess it's like the Stinger destroying the NWO, and with the right finish at Starrcade instead of what we really got. But hopefully Tony D'Angelo wipes Dark State out, and I'll root for him as the NXT champion. Good. Thank you, Tony. Miles Bourne confronted Ethan Page in the locker room as he was talking to the Vanity Project. Ethan wouldn't give him a shot at the North American Championship. After that, Ricky Saints walks in. He brags about getting an NXT title shot. Then we go to the number one contender Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match. Number one contenders, Hank and Tank against the Vanity Project, against OTM, against the Culling. And it's just too much happened in this match to recap everything. There was so much action, so much spots, so much interference that I can't recap it. Near the end of the match, it was total pandemonium, as the late, great Gorilla Monsoon would say. Then, after so much interference, there was this double spot on the announce booth that was kind of botched because both guys were supposed to get slammed simultaneously by Hank and Tank. Instead, one guy got slammed and it broke. Then the other guy got slammed like onto the debris. So that was kind of a botch, but still a good start. We got an announce booth bump at least. Eventually, the Vanity Project gets the win. One of the guys got knocked out, and they got the win there. I thought it was a good choice for them to win. Hopefully, they beat Dark State. Maybe Tony D'Angelo interferes on their behalf. NXT is starting to heal. If we can get rid of Dark State, we're not going to get rid of JC Jane. She'll retain next week, but getting rid of Dark State's good. Having them lose the belts at least. Less Josh Briggs, less Jasper Troy. Ava is gone. She was the worst part of the show, and just when she's been gone, the show has been a lot better. It hasn't been perfect. I think this week's probably been the best NXT I've seen since she's been gone, which is great. But just with her, it's like Robert Stone is not that good, but he's so much better than her. Just her being gone, it's really helped the show a lot, I think. NXT is healing without her. She's sucked. Then we got a Keanu Carver video package. Right when I say NXT is healing, we got Keanu Carver. This guy sucks. There's nothing to him. Says, I beat up my football coach because he told me I couldn't do it right. Yeah, because you suck. Because you're not listening to your coach. Like, what's that supposed to mean? And I'm supposed to have sympathy for this guy. He attacks his coach because he's not doing his job as a fucking football player, and he's getting paid. And now college athletes get paid. Just some NIL fucking football guy. I don't give a shit about this guy. Fuck Keanu Carver. Robert Stone was talking to Joe Hendry. Then Zarya, the camera transitions to her yelling at Sol Ruka. They're done as a team. She tells her to go to hell, and she will. Follow up on that next week. Fatal Influencer out next. I'm no fan of JC. I find her voice nauseating. She's cutting a promo. It's like, yeah, the fans don't see you, JC, as a star. They don't agree with your push. You're like the female Jey Uso. And the thing is, Jey Uso at least is no longer in the world title picture as of now. You still are. It's like a relic of 2025, Jey Uso and JC Jane. Anyway, they complain. JC complains about Sol Ruca winning Female Superstar of the Year. Again, that tells you the fans don't buy you. Like Shawn Michaels does. He's a stupid booker, but the fans see through you and you're not that good. They're overpushed, overrated. JC feels disrespected because Sol is given opportunities ahead of her. Again, thankfully, Triple H has a better eye. Well, everyone has a better eye than Shawn Michaels on potential talent. He knows that JC Jane is not very good. So thankfully, Triple H is at least doing that right by pushing Sol Ruca ahead of her. If it was Shawn Michaels, he probably would have had JC Jane win the entire Royal Rumble if he was booking it. So Sol finally interrupted her. She cut a decent promo. Then they all jumped her. Fatal Influence did. Then Zarya made the save. Zarya helped Sol up. They're reunited. They're okay now. They are on the same page. They've made up. Wrong. She's turning on her next week. Zarya will cost Sol Ruca the NXT Women's Championship next week. Shawn Legacy talked to Elio LaFleur and Eli Knight in the locker room before their speed match. Then we get the speed match, Elio LaFleur against Eli Knight. So Eli, I think, legitimately hurt his ankle on the outside as he did like a springboard moonsault to the outside. And it went to a draw after time expired. Then Robert Stone announced a triple threat speed match next week. Unfortunately, we have to watch Jasper Troy have a 7-minute match because it's a triple threat. It's now 7 minutes. Jasper Troy having a match longer than 1 second is a travesty. Backstage, Shiloh Hill talked to Miles Bourne. It led to a tense confrontation because Shiloh doesn't want Miles to interfere. Then we go backstage. I don't know what, is this like the cafe? I don't know where this is. It's like a kitchen, practically, or a dining room. Anyway, I don't know what that's called. One of the Chase U guys was talking to Charlie Dempsey. He's trying to get him to join Lexis King and Ariana Grace and Stax, and the three of them walk in. They say that Uriah Connors, that's his name, he's going to face one of his former Chase U members next week. It's going to be the other guy, not Andre Chase. Backstage, Robert Stone was talking to Fallon Henley when Blake Monroe walked in, and this kind of led to a confrontation between the two of them, like kind of passive in a way, because Fallon was laughing at Blake, and Blake was kind of being dismissive of Fallon, kind of big timing her. Blake is now in the speed tournament. Just so stupid. Why isn't she the NXT Women's Champion? She has so much more potential than everyone else. Shawn Michaels has such a lazy brain. As I said, in addition to having a lazy eye, he has a lazy brain for the way he's booked Blake and the way he's prioritized JC Jane over Blake Monroe. And it's so stupid. Anyway, Fallon laughed at her as Blake was in the speed tournament, as you should. The speed tournament's for losers. Let's be real. She's facing Thea Hale next week. They preview next week's show, which, by the way, is no longer taking place in Atlanta. It was supposed to be in Center Stage. It's off. That show is not happening in Atlanta next week. Instead, there's a show scheduled for Houston now, not until March. And then they do have NXT returning on March 31st to MSG for Roadblock. Won't be as good as last year, no way, but they are back for Roadblock in March. I don't know when Stand and Deliver is going to be announced, and there is a Vengeance Day, so there's a lot coming up for NXT. There's like 3 big shows in March. Hopefully we get Stand and Deliver probably well in April, but no Atlanta next week. That was supposed to be a big show. They did Center Stage last year, but not getting it this year. Dark State was pissed off backstage. They cut a promo. These guys suck. I hope they lose their belts. Zarya and Sol Ruca are talking backstage. After making up, Miles Bourne walked right past them, so he was obviously going to have a run in, at least in the main event, do something. And as I said, Zarya's turning on Sol next week. Main event was next, NXT North American Championship. Ethan Page defending against Shiloh Hill. The whole story here was Ethan Page was going to break the record for most consecutive title defenses. So the Vanity Project got involved. It allowed Ethan Page to get the win after he hit 2 twisted grins. They continued to beat down Shiloh Hill until Miles Bourne came out to make the save. Hill then took out the Vanity Project with a dive to the outside. Then Miles Bourne really beat down Ethan Page. He then threatens to pulmonize Ethan Page's ankle with the chair. So he has his ankle in between the chair, ready to pulmonize it until he holds him up and for him to agree to defend the NXT North American Championship against him. Ethan Page agrees to it, and like an idiot heel, he's so arrogant, he says, you're like a pussy. You won't actually do it. You're a coward. And I'm thinking, yeah, as your leg is still trapped in between the chair, idiot. And then this Miles Bourne freaks out. He's like 2009 Randy Orton now. That's his whole gimmick, I guess. And then he Pillmanizes Ethan Page's ankle, the heel. He Pillmanizes the heel's ankle. The babyface does this. He stomps really hard on the chair, and Ethan Page sells it really well to his credit. Oversells the ankle, and Miles Bourne destroys Ethan Page here. And I thought overall this was a very good episode of NXT. I really liked the opening match with Kalani and Lola. I liked the ending angle. There was a lot good here on this show. I can't recap everything I liked, but almost most of the stuff, besides like Dark Stain, stuff like that, and I don't like that, but almost everything was really good this week, and I enjoyed NXT. Very good episode of NXT, and hopefully they continue. As I said, once Ava was out, the show improved dramatically. There's still a lot that needs to be done. No more Jasper Troy, please. No more Josh Briggs, please. Please get the belt off JC Jane. Fucking get rid of Dark State. There's a lot more that needs to be done, but NXT is definitely heading in the right direction.